Yes, you're still watching the South Australian Sports Show. I'm sorry, Poppy, that's it. 2 weeks, I'm gone, I'm out of here, I'm appealing, I'm back for one. Sorry you hit your head, it was an accident.
What's happened?
Chance you could let me off?
You know, I'm a traditionalist.
Yep.
And I understand that we've brought a lot of the physicality out of the game. It started with the behind the play incident. Full support. I don't think there was a person from any era that disagreed with that decision. But slowly it's got to the stage where we need to tackle appropriately. And okay, the double movement, the sling, the not driving, I still get all that.
Yep.
I still can't quite see it in the danger. I think we've become so fragile that I don't know.
Let me ask you this: If
I don't know. I don't get it.
If Cruiser had got up and kept playing,
Oh, there's no problem.
Nothing happened.
No.
So we've reacted to the fact that he got concussed.
Yes.
And that's what the penalty's for. Just quickly then.
Oh, but I'll ask you another question on the back of this.
Yep.
In the last game of the year, one are playing two, and I get tackled.
Yep.
And I fake being concussed.
Yep.
Because I know I'm going to play this side in 2 weeks' time or 3 weeks' time.
Could he get some game?
I go off because it's not going to have a result of the game. I go off.
Yep.
Use it as a tactic.
Yep.
Tell me.
Yeah, well,
The
problem is you've got to rely on the doctors then, because the doctors have to put in a report.
Yes,
so
but the doctors...
You're relying about the
doctors,
integrity of the doctor.
No, but the doctor's integrity is really based on the player's reaction to a series of tests.
Sure.
So what you do is you open up a Pandora's box when you become so minutely careful about applying the law of the game. There is a grey area that can actually jump out and bite you. And I reckon we're on the edge. We're on the edge, that's all I'm saying.
Look, and everyone's had
and I'm on the edge.
You are on the edge. Everyone's had a theory about it. For mine, it was simple. I think danger, if it had been someone smaller, I think he would have been fine. But because Cruz is the bigger player,
a bit
he had him pinned, then there was more leverage for him to fall and hit his head. Second part was that Danger jumped up and thought he'd got him for holding the ball. So clearly to me, there wasn't that he thought the ball popped out, some intent to injure him. So I'm stuck on the word intent.
Yes.
And that I don't think his intent at any time was to do that.
No, look,
now,
I get that.
Probably the reason that it's a bit more attention than normal is that he's in line for a Brownlow medal.
Sure.
So does that mean now that we should revisit the Brownlow medal? Should it be the best and fairest? Should it just be the best? Simple solution
I'm
for
happy
mine.
with that.
Simple solution. If Danger gets suspended for tackling Cruiser, he can't get any votes in that game. So if he was best on ground,
don't mind that.
Then he loses his 3 votes. He gets a game and he can't play next week, so he can't poll any votes. Then he comes back and whatever happens after that is fine. So instead of ruling him out, because if you tackle me and I get knocked down and you're leading the Coleman medal, you still win the Coleman medal.
Yes.
Why is that different?
Look, I agree. And with this Dangerfield decision also, I mean, is he not the best and fairest person because of that tackle? Has he not been the best and fairest player this year because of that tackle? Because inevitably that's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
He's going to lose a Brownlow medal because of that tackle.
Yep.
It doesn't sit well with me.
It doesn't sit well with most
And if
people,
I was a runner-up, okay, I'd be delighted to win it. But I'd win it knowing that, wow.
All right, now let's grab most of the headlines this week, and it should have been about Nick Riewoldt. Nick Riewoldt, 17 seasons, 333 games. He'll get to 37 by the end of the season if he gets through. And you go 5 times All-Australian, 6 times best and fairest at his club. Just a phenomenal player on the field. But there was something special about Nick Riewoldt. I think he'll be remembered as perhaps the most courageous,
unbelievably courageous acts.
But it was his off-the-field stuff that I found. There was a class about Riewoldt. Where you almost felt like he was the kind of guy that felt like a brother or a friend. I sense when he retires, we'll miss him for those reasons, not just his footy. So let me ask you this: is there a player from South Australia that reminds you of a Riewoldt that was classy on the ground and equally as classy off it?
Look, there's not an obvious that springs to mind. Maybe Andrew McLeod, because he was unbelievably classy on, and he's been very
classy off.
Yep. But like most players, he got dragged into the Leighton thing, so there was some. There was a little bit of.
There was a little bit about that around Riewoldt, though.
No, but not so much. I think Riewoldt. I really admire a guy that he's absolutely committed to his side for such a long period of time, and really, he hasn't been caught up in any scandals that this game can...
There were a couple.
Were there?
A couple with a couple of players that at that time there were some photos that shouldn't have been taken.
Was he part of that, was he?
Well, he stood by his teammates through all of that. But I guess my point is I think he may be the end of that period now where one club.
Yeah.
Stick with my teammates no matter what. You know, he stuck with Ricky Nixon for as long as he possibly could have out of loyalty, and in the end he had to let it go.
Yeah.
I don't think we'll see that degree of loyalty from anyone.
He was
here.
a classy player on the field.
Yes.
He was courageous on the field. I think we all felt some empathy in regards to his sister.
Yes.
And so we sort of connected in those three elements, that he's loyal, that he's courageous, that he loves his family. You can't not admire the guy.
You've got a daughter, I've got three daughters.
Yes.
Would you be happy if they brought Nick Riewoldt home and said, this is the guy I'm going out with?
No, I actually wouldn't.
You wouldn't?
No,
well, your daughter's a bit young, but seriously.
Look, I've had a talk to my beautiful daughter who's 15, and she if she brought Nick Riewoldt home and she was 35 at the time, because she's not allowed to have a boyfriend before then, then we can talk about it.
Fair and reasonable about it.
I think, unfortunately for Nick, he'll be in his mid-60s, so he hasn't got a chance.
So effectively, no bloke can come in before 35.
Well, look, I know that's I'm a hard task.
How's Grace reacted to that?
At this stage, she agrees, which is a good thing.
Very sporty of her. Hey, quickly, showdown. Sling, would you tag him or not?
Yeah, I'd tag him, but I'm not sure who with. Kane Courts is retired, hasn't he? No, I would tag him.
Bit of talk this week about Bakey doing it, can't see it.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. Although in saying that, it'll probably bring Boak into the game a little bit more. Wouldn't hurt.
It would be interesting. All right, time for us to go. I hope you've enjoyed the show, everybody. We'll look forward to your company next week. Bye for now. I think if you see the public